Hey everyone, it's Sugar Diamond here, and today we are going to be discussing how to tell if your LPS is fake or authentic, because surprisingly I've never made this video before ever, and I always get comments asking how to tell. Just a little disclaimer before we get on with this video, I am not hating on fake LPS. I definitely love fake LPS, and I've used them in lots and lots of videos before. Fake LPS are great, and they're definitely a budget-friendly way to get a good LPS, like a main 5 mold, without spending like hundreds of dollars on them. The purpose of this video is to simply educate you in case you're interested in knowing how to tell, and to help prevent from getting scammed, because let's be honest, LPS sellers on eBay and other websites are very sneaky. It's so easy to get scammed when it says that you're getting an authentic LPS when really you're not. So most of the main 5 LPS that you find on Amazon are definitely fakes. It'll show like one pet for maybe like $6 or $7, or like two pieces of pet for like whatever, 12 bucks or something. Those are usually fake, especially if they only show main 5 molds. But the easiest way to tell if your LPS is fake or authentic is simply by the pegs. If you watched my haul or lot review videos, you could probably see that whenever I get a main 5, I always show like the peg and go like, it's not even authentic. Here I have 2 LPS. Even from just looking at them, you can see a big difference. But let me show you what I'm talking about, the peg. This LPS is fake. Now if you look underneath, you can see a white peg right there. That is what we mean when we say peg. So it's white. Whereas this one is an authentic LPS. You look at the peg, but she does have a clear peg. However, there are lots of sellers online today, as I said, selling authentic pets that are actually fake. And they make those fake LPS. Now some of them have clear pegs because people have caught on to what they're doing, so they do make clear pegs on some fake LPS. So that's not always the most accurate way, but let me show you another way. Now here are 2 LPS. This one is authentic, this one is fake. One way you can tell is just simply by looking at the head shape. This one looks like your most typical short hair, common short hair. So as you can see, they have a very nice symmetrical head shape, whereas a fake LPS, its head is just a little different. As you can tell, it looks a little shorter, a little smaller, and it's not as symmetrical. It's just the front of her face is very sloped, whereas compared to the normal short hair, it's a little more flat. So that's one way to tell. The mouth is also less prominent on the fake LPS. It's a little more subtle and a little more, I don't know, not as happy, not as largely indented. And the eyes. So on this fake LPS, you can tell that the eyes are sort of flat. I mean, there is like a little indent where they painted the eyes. It's sort of hard to show on camera, but I'm doing my best. So as you guys can see, it's a pretty flat eye socket is what I'm gonna call it. It's flat, it's sort of there, but if you rub your finger over it, you can sort of feel it, but it's not that strong. Whereas on an authentic LPS, while it's still a little hard to see on camera, you can definitely feel it a little bit more, and the eye impression is more there. Which brings me on to my next point, eye gloss. Now, I don't know about you, but in LPS videos, I always love seeing the glossy-eyed LPS, which are usually authentic LPS, because they just have a really nice shine over their eyes. Now, here is an authentic Great Dane, and here's a fake. As you can see, the fake has a little bit more of a matted eye, and it doesn't catch up my ring light and this pupil, whereas this one on your guys' right is right over here. You can see a little bit more of that ring light, and it gets that really nice crisp shine, whereas this one is just sort of fuzzy looking. Here you go. You can definitely see like the texture on the eye, the little tiny bumps. And here's the authentic. It's a very smooth, I mean his eyes are a little dusty, but you get the point. However, this is also not the most accurate way, because look at these LPS and tell me which one's fake and real. Now, in this scenario, the eye gloss method, as I'm gonna call it, is not accurate. This is a fake LPS over here, okay? This one is a fake. Here's the authentic version of him, so you can see a little bit of a difference, but this fake has pretty glossy eyes and looks pretty authentic. This gray LPS Great Dane is authentic. He has a clear peg, but his eyes, as you can see, are very matte. They don't have that same gloss. So you can't always 100% guarantee an LPS is authentic just by looking at its eyes. You need to take in all these points to actually verify if your LPS is authentic or not. An important takeaway is magnets do not define if the LPS is authentic or fake. There is a lot of misconception thinking that this is the best way to determine if an LPS is fake or authentic, and while that is true to some extent, a lot of fakes nowadays, they are putting in more magnets, especially the red magnets, which you once thought were only for authentic pets like this one. These are the red magnets. Here is a blue or gray magnet on the bottom of Missy's paws. And then as you move on to the later LPS, you will get a little hole on the bottom of the paws, just because it was a choking hazard back in the day. However, this fake Great Dane I have has a blue magnet. As you can see, even though he's a fake, he still has a magnet. Another way that will help you define if an LPS is fake or authentic is the head ridge. As you can see on Misty, she has a little, sort of line of plastic right here, as you can see, pointing where her head is not exactly flat against her body, but there's a tiny little ridge, a little ring of plastic right here on her neck. Whereas fake LPS, it sits completely flush against their head and they don't really have a ring. Here's the authentic version of this Great Dane, and even here you can see not too big of a difference, but you can definitely see that this one has a little bit more of a prominent ring that sticks out. As for these cats, you can see that this one here on the right has a little plastic ring. Even though it's sometimes hard to see, it's a little bit more obvious. Especially when you look at the bottom, you can see the neck plug here is very obvious, whereas this one, well, it looks sort of glued in and you can't really tell. I find the neck plugs, as well as the neck peg method, to be some of the best methods to determining if an LPS is fake or authentic. And the more you look at LPS, an authentic LPS versus fake LPS, you're just going to pick up on naturally what an authentic LPS should look like, especially when it comes to the main 5 molds. That's what I did, so I wasn't very educated back in the day, and over time you just sort of pick up on it the more you practice looking at LPS and the differences. Another way to determine a fake from an authentic LPS is simply by the hard plastic. These fake LPS that I have a very glossy body, as you can tell. This one not so much, but these two, you can see the gloss marks right there. It's a very shiny plastic look is what they have, whereas the top is a little more matte and a little more natural. Authentic LPS will have simply more matte bodies, and it sort of matches the same gloss that they use on the head. I mean, color variation can differ slightly on fakes and authentics, so that should never be a very much of a true factor into telling if an LPS is authentic or not. So I usually just tell by the body gloss also. Another way to determine is if it has a glossy body, it's usually a bit of a hard plastic when you can just sort of feel it. It's definitely a harder plastic than more of this rubbery, softer plastic, and I'm going to do a little test, so I'm just going to try squeezing the legs. The hard plastic, I'm putting quite a bit of pressure, and as you can see, it's only budging slightly, so he is very hard plastic, whereas a regular LPS, since it's more rubbery, I can basically touch the heels together. I'm not going to do it too much because it's not great for the LPS, but that was just a little demonstration. And the final tip I have is just regular LPS will have such a nice bobble. As you can see, this head movement, I can spin it all around and up and down, every which way, whereas on this fake LPS, yes, I can still do the same amount of movements, but the bobble feel is just very different. I don't know how to explain it. This one's more reserved when it comes to the movement range, whereas this one I can do a whole bunch more, and it just doesn't feel as stiff or as turnable, because fakes, they usually have pretty easy heads to turn. I can do that with one hand, whereas authentic ones, you can't turn their head with only using one hand. I mean, sometimes if their neck is broken you can, but for the majority of authentic LPS, you can't just twist it with one hand, whereas fakes, boom, look at that. And authentics, no, I can maybe get a little movement, but not much. And there we go, everyone. That's how I tell if my LPS is a fake or authentic. As I said, my favorite ways are to tell by the neck pegs and the neck plugs. Those ways are usually fairly accurate, but then we like to go to the eye gloss, and if the eyes are not very indented, then chances are your LPS might be fake if they don't have that nice shine in their eyes and it's a little bit more matte, but of course it varies on the LPS design as well. I just want to warn you guys just to always be careful. If you see a whole bunch of LPS listings that look fairly similar, chances are that might be fake. Especially it's really fishy if the listing says that they sold like 10 or 100 of these. That usually means that they're manufactured and not actually authentic. Just some things to keep in mind the next time you're shopping for some LPS. If you have any other tips that I forgot, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And until then, I hope you all have a wonderful and magical day. Bye!